Hey everyone, I have a question. I live in California, so I don't know the entire United States, what's going on everywhere. I don't know. I don't know much. What do I know? I don't know. I know a little bit about guns. Can you say guns? Pew pews. I know about pets. Ruff, ruff, meow meow. Whoop whoop. Quack quack. Whatever. I do know about pets and animals. I know about classic cars. Some. I know what cars work best for. Someone's asked me to do a video on that. Where like, they don't buy a classic car to use in film. What should they buy? That's a tough one. And I know some stuff about health because of my poor health and my recovery, hopefully recovery, or my journey, my path, whatever, to better health. But one thing that's out there that's going on is this year in the United States, they're calling January 20th Independence Day. Independence Day, January 20th. We already have an Independence Day here, which we call July the 4th. There's an old joke. Uh, do they, does England have a 4th of July? Well, yeah, it's a day on a calendar. Do they celebrate American Independence Day? Probably not. I don't know. Maybe they do. I mean, we celebrate Boxing Day and a few other things here. They're not necessarily from here. Cinco de Mayo. Some of the, a lot of them, I think, in the United States, we kind of embellished or created those holidays ourselves to sell beer and barbecue gear or something, a barbecue grill for whatever. Don't forget to get your tamales for Cinco de Mayo. But out here, we're having a lot of excitement. Everybody's very excited about Trump coming back. Last time, it was exact opposite. People were so sad. I would actually see them at lights, crying like this and driving like that. People were not able to go to school, work. They didn't celebrate holidays, birthdays. They did nothing. They did one thing, and that was cry about Hillary Clinton losing the election. And I think that might be a two-tier because she was going to be the first woman president. And probably they're saying she may be the most qualified person to run for president with all the jobs she's had prior to going there. But maybe they just didn't like her, or maybe they didn't like what she did when she was in those jobs to give her that qualifications. Kamala Harris is a different story. She's kind of like, well, what have you done, Kamala? Well, I did this. We don't like that. Well, I did this. Well, we don't like that either. Well, I did this. We really don't like that. Well, I worked with Joe Biden. We don't like that. Well, Joe and I, we did this. We don't like that. Joe, he's really sharp, and I'm right there, his right-hand man and right-hand woman, and falling off a coconut tree. Well, we don't like that. I laugh a lot. But we don't like that. I say I was born in a middle class. We don't like that. We don't like your lies. We don't like you. And that she lost because of that reason. People say, "Oh, she lost because she's a black woman." No, she lost because is she black? I don't know. Is she a woman? I guess she lost because people hate her. People just do not like Kamala Harris. She's unliked. She wasn't liked in the Democrat. If she was liked in the Democrat Party, why was she such a horrible vice president that they're saying she may be the worst vice president of all time? So you have a president they say may be the worst president of all time, Joe Biden, and his running mate. Then you're going to say, well, here, you're the worst vice president there is. He's the worst president. What if we take him away, put you there, and you could be the worst president? No, I truly believe this, and I mean, it's a conspiracy. I don't think anyone really thought Kamala Harris was going to win or even had a chance to win. I don't think she thought it. I don't think Joe Biden thought it. I don't think Jill Biden thought it. I don't think Nancy Pelosi. I really don't believe they thought that. And I can kind of see Joe Biden's thoughts now. Joe Biden said he was forced out of the election because they wanted to run her so she could win, so they have a chance to win the election, but they didn't win the election. So if you're not going to win the election, don't win the election and let me be the candidate. I'll go out on the road and eat ice cream and smell babies and whatever, shake some hands. I'll go out there and tell some lies. Well, I was a truck driver and I used to drive a truck, and I remember he was saying that the bridge that went down was in Maryland or Baltimore. When that bridge went down, he said that he used to take the train across that bridge, even though they never had a train tracks on that. Maybe he was one that, well, it was one of the kids you see they hop on the train and they move with their feet. Maybe he did that. I don't know. That he was friends with a guy that was on the Amtrak, and the guy had been dead for years before that happened. He wasn't. Never went out and was a civil rights marcher. He never went to jail, and South Africa, all his lies. So you got lying Joe Biden, you got Kamala Harris with her cackling, I'm black and I'm a poor, like on the jerk, he was born a poor black child, she was born a poor black, middle class black jobs. So nobody liked them. They hated them. They don't like them. So no one was that. There's some people that screamed and cried. There's videos out there. Go to TikTok. You'll see a million different people that have Trump derangement syndrome, and they would have Trump derangement syndrome no matter who won. No matter who won, they're going to have Trump because they just don't like Trump because he did something. What is it? I don't know. You fill in the blank. I don't like Trump because, and then fill in the blank. But what happened with the election last time with Hillary Clinton losing, people were really, really sad. I think there was some legitimate sadness. I do believe that people thought she might win. It came down to counting the electoral college vote. She did win the popular vote, so it was more realistic that she had a chance to win the election. This time, the person they put up, the Democrats just gave away this election. They knew they weren't going to win. They ran someone they knew couldn't win. Look at the vice president pick in Walls. They didn't even vet that guy. They didn't realize that he was guilty of stolen valor. They didn't know that he was a liar, a drunk driver, crazy, clapping his hands and being a lunatic. His wife, crazy. Can you say crazy? She's really, really out there. He stole money, or he was involved in the stealing of money from that fund. Like they say, the buck stops here. If they say, well, David, you're in charge of all this money, and somebody steals that money, and I didn't do anything to stop them from stealing that money, I stole that money. In my view, that's how I look at it. David, you were in charge of the cash register at Joe's Hamburger Hut, and Susie stole $20. Who put Susie on that register? This guy. Who's responsible? This guy. Yeah. So, but now we kind of have the opposite thing going. We still have Trump derangement, but you have to kind of go look for it. I would actually see people just like rolled up like this, at local news. I would go places and people would be, can you even believe it? I'd see like a group of three, usually women, or oftentimes homosexual men. Nothing against homosexual men. You guys are great. But yeah, if you look at a lot of the people out there now that have the Trump derangement syndrome, you kind of see a pattern, don't you? Very, very feminine men, men that are no longer want to be men and they're theys or whatever, and women. That's usually what you see. You don't really see, guys looking like this. I'm not saying I look like, oh, I'm a He-Man, but you don't see this kind of guy out there crying. It's a different type of person that's crying, and they're sad, and they are sad. They're sad. There's a few sad people out there, and they have Trump derangement syndrome. But we have the opposite thing. It's not Harris derangement syndrome. We don't have that. We have Trump happiness syndrome. Maybe it's called THS, Trump happiness, or Trump excitement syndrome. They have to find something that would look good on there. Trump excitement syndrome, TES. No, it has to be something that comes up with a good acronym, a three-letter acronym like FBI or CIA or IRS, any of that kind of stuff. But what's happening now is they're not celebrating anything but January 20th. So when he got elected in November, it all stopped. Did they celebrate Veterans Day? What about Thanksgiving? No, they have one holiday, one thing circled on the calendar. January 20th. The USA's new Independence Day. Somebody came up with the phrase July 4th, Independence Day, when we signed the Declaration of Independence. We're out of here, guys. England, we love you. You make great tea, tally ho. But we're not going to be British anymore. We're going to be something else, and we're going to make a name. We're going to have an army, and we're going to be. I don't know if anyone really thought we'd be the world superpower here 225 years later, 240, 50 years, or whatever it is. But we are. So that's how. But right now, I feel kind of bad for these people that are so excited about Trump. Because what if it's their granddaughter's birthday was on December the 11th, and what if there was a Christmas celebration? What if we celebrated Thanksgiving? They're only focused on one thing. I mean, whereas if after the Hillary thing, the sad people went to eat turkey, they'd be, oh, yeah, well, this is really good. Grandma, this turkey's really good. Well, I thought I'd be eating turkey waiting for Hillary to enter the White House. She's been in the White House before. She was the president's wife. But what happens now is they're so excited, they're kind of missing out. this when we had the 4th of July, we don't miss Easter. There's some things that kind of more towards that time frame. We don't miss Easter. We don't get excited about the last day of school. We still were all of those things, you know. So now we have people that are missing out on stuff because they're super happy. Maybe some are missing out on stuff now again because they're super sad. Did Rosie move out of the country? Who's left here? Let's make a checklist. Let's see. Yeah, Robert De Niro. Oh, zero. Nobody's left. Nobody left. Nobody left. And why? That's a good point. Why do they always go to either Canada, Australia, England? Why don't they go to Somalia? Why don't they go? They talk about how we need to take care of these people, be good to these people, and blah blah blah. It's sad. These people. We need to do this. We need to protect the immigrant. Why don't they go to some of these countries and help? If they think things are so bad in these immigrant countries, why don't they go? To Venezuela? Why don't they go, to Somalia? Why don't they go to North Korea? Why don't they go somewhere else? They always want to go to an predominantly English-speaking place where there's a good, strong country. They don't go to a third world country. They're not going to some little area of Africa where there's no water and no facilities. They don't go dig wells in Africa. They want to go to a place where they can say, okay, I'm gonna move from this mansion to this mansion, And if you're an actor, you can work anywhere. If they want some big actor to be in a movie, let's say it's Robert De Niro, and let's say he was actually popular again. So some people say, Robert De Niro, great actor. Was he a great actor? I used to love watching Robert. Now it's kind of Rosie O'Donnell. I used to think Rosie O'Donnell was very funny. Whoopi Goldberg, funny. Now blah blah blah. It's just blah blah blah. It's one subject. I don't need to turn on The View every day to hear that Trump sucks. They always say Trump sucks. You turn it on any time of the day, it's going to be something negative about Trump. That's just all there's to it. Or one of his picks now, and that's also his fault. But nobody left. No one left, and they're not going to. But my question is, January 20th, is it our new Independence Day? Now, I think the reason we didn't have a quote-unquote Trump fever after the last election is things weren't as bad when Trump won the first time. It's hard pressed for these Democrats, even the most woke Democrat, the most liberal, the most left-leaning, whatever you want to call them, to say that the economy was good, the borders were secure. They really couldn't say that. So just like I don't believe they really thought that Harris was going to win or Biden was going to win for that fact. Do you guys think Biden would have won? Could Biden have had a better chance than her? I don't know. But it's hard pressed for them to say things were that good because all the evidence was out there that things were not good. Biden's own administration had to say, well, yeah, the inflation went up. They always lie about how high the inflation rate was when Trump left office to show that Biden fixed it, and it's just not true. So they lied about the economy. They lied about how his well-being. They lied about the crime statistics. They lied about they just lied. They just lied, and people just said, look, we've had enough. We know the most liberal, most woke person that would go there and push the whole thing or whatever they do when they vote out here where you are. They push a little thing, and maybe they voted from home, fill in the ball. Every single one that voted for Harris knew 100% that they were being told lies. If they were saying they support Harris, they were telling lies. But she had one thing going. She was not Trump. Biden won. He was not Trump. Harris thought she could maybe do the same thing. No, she fell out of the coconut tree. That lady fell out of the coconut tree and smashed her coconut head or whatever because there's no way she was going to win. But don't you kind of agree? January 20th, Independence Day, if you are a big-time Trump supporter, if you're Mr. MAGA, if you wear a MAGA hat, if you have a MAGA thing and a flag flapping out of your back of your pickup truck while you're driving around, you say, Trump, 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 he's our man, if he can't be president, nobody can, or if he can't fix the economy, nobody can, or whatever. I spilled coffee. I got too excited, I guess. But I spilled the coffee. Wasn't hot. But yeah. So even the most excited, don't you think they should still, I don't know, have some other kind of celebration or happiness of something else? Because the election was in November. We still have till January 20th, 21 more days, and 3 weeks from now, we'll have a brand new president of the White House. Are you excited? Do you have Trump excitement syndrome? What should we call it? Let's make a name for it. Let's all, down in the comment section, what should we call it? Trump whoop-de-doo syndrome? Maybe it's the TWS, the Trump whoop whoop. Maybe it's two W's. syndrome. Do we have a syndrome? Are we just excited? Are people excited? Are you excited? Are you excited? I'm excited to see what happens. I'm not a huge Trump fan. I'm definitely not a huge Harris fan. I think those two choices, we made the right decision. You may say no, we made the wrong decision. I'm a Democrat, and I can truthfully say, when you look at the economy, you look at the world, the world picture. They say he's going to bring home the hostages. Is he going to? I think maybe he will. He's going to scare them. He's going to scare them. Remember with Reagan, he scared the Russians. The Russians said that the number one piece of military hardware that we had in the United States they feared was the space shuttle. I think they thought we were going to, I don't know, what if we just rode around the space shuttle taking their, well, let's go and take that satellite. That would, so now they have no electricity. Let's take this satellite. So we could just take all their satellites out. They can't run their grid. They can't run their whatever. So, yeah, he said this is going to happen. And he already told the parties involved, we need the hostages back. And he told Russia, hey, you need to stop this war with Ukraine. Ukraine, you need to stop fighting. You guys stop fighting. And maybe that's all it takes. Maybe it takes, your big brother saying, hey, if you do this again, if you hit your little sister again, I'm going to give you this. Oh, no, I don't want this. I want to poke my sister, poop, 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 and tease her until she cries. But then my big brother comes in and bam, punches me in the nose. Ah, mommy, I got punched me in the nose. Were you part of the? She said, yes, okay. Because that's kind of like the scenario. You have one person doing this to a smaller person than you, does something to an even smaller person, gets socked, and then the agreement, mom being the world, says it's okay. So anyway, what do you think? Trump, what do you do? Syndrome, Trump, how do you do? What's going to happen? I don't know. Take care. It is now. This will not be out right now, but it is New Year's Eve right now. Alabama is playing Michigan and losing. See, Alabama ranked 11th, I guess, and then Michigan's unranked. So you can't. Well, if you get to a bowl game, remember that's the last game of the season. So for a lot of these teams, unless you're in the playoff situation. But if you're not in the playoffs, a lot of people say Alabama should have been. If Alabama wins, they win big because they screwed over Alabama. If Michigan wins, people might say, well, okay, they're right. Alabama wasn't one of the teams to be put into the playoff program. The 12 teams they picked. Take care, everyone. Happy New Year. What about this Trump guy? I don't know. Take care.